House Republican leaders filed a government funding bill late Wednesday that bows to the wishes of conservative lawmakers but is widely seen as unpassable in the Senate because of Democratic opposition. The move sets up a showdown between the two chambers and the two parties ahead of a deadline of midnight December 22 to avoid a partial government shutdown. The House bill provides funding for the military through the end of the fiscal year on September 30, 2018 and temporarily extends all other government funding until January 19. The legislation also includes a GOP-written reauthorization of the Children's Health Insurance Program and federal funding for community health centers. What it does not include are any of the top priorities for Democrats, including provisions dealing with the immigration status of Dreamers, funding to subsidize premiums in the insurance markets created under the Affordable Care Act, more money to combat the opioid addiction crisis, or any increase in spending levels for non-defense agencies. All of those are provisions that most conservatives oppose but that the Senate could add to the year-end spending package to secure its passage. The House bill is the first step in a dance that could either result in a long-term bipartisan accord, a third short-term stopgap, or a pre-holiday government shutdown. Bipartisan negotiations are underway to raise the spending caps imposed under a 2011 law. Doing so will require Republicans and Democrats to compromise on both defense and non-defense spending levels, but an agreement has been elusive. House Appropriations Committee Chairman Rodney Frelinghuysen, RNJ, said in a statement that the bill, with its short-term extensions for most agencies, is not the preferred way to do the nation's fiscal business. But he said it would give negotiators more time to agree on aggregate spending levels. President Donald Trump on Friday signed a spending bill to avoid a government shutdown and keep the federal government running through December 22. The president signed the two-week spending measure in private at the White House after the House and Senate acted to prevent a government shutdown. President Donald Trump on Friday signed a spending bill to avoid a government shutdown and keep the federal government running through December 22. The president signed the two-week spending measure in private at the White House after the House and Senate acted to prevent a government shutdown. Senate Democrats, who can block Republicans from passing any spending legislation under the chamber's 60-vote filibuster rule, said this week that they would reject the House Republican approach. We urge you to keep your commitment to the bipartisan budget negotiations and forego any plans to consider partisan legislation, Democratic senators wrote Tuesday. There is a better path. Let the bipartisan negotiation continue in good faith so that Democrats and Republicans can produce a budget agreement that fully funds our homeland security, health care, and veterans' needs. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, D. California, said Thursday that the GOP bill was not going to fly and reiterated that Democrats expect spending levels to increase equally for the Pentagon and all other matters.